Hey, it's Khalil Murdoch, your commissioner of athletics, back with another banger. Today we got a good friend of mine, star athlete, Lindsay. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So the first thing I really wanted to ask you was just what's been going on during quarantine, what's been going on with your sport, life, everything.
Yeah, so to be completely honest, I know this is kind of surprising, but I've actually been able to stay pretty consistently happy throughout quarantine. And I
Mm.
think because I'm just so used to having a really busy schedule, I try to kind of keep that structure even during quarantine. So I've been trying to keep myself busy. Like I started a coding program at the middle school where it teaches all girls how to code and it really emphasizes the importance of sisterhood. So that's what I've been working on. And then obviously, college apps, I've had to work on that even though it's really simple now that I only have to go to one school.
Yeah.
But for volleyball, it's been kind of difficult because obviously we can't go into the gym like normally. So we, in the beginning of quarantine, we kind of started to do like privates, which is coaches, one coach and then one player. And so we've been doing that. And then slowly we've been getting more and more girls on the court. So I actually have my first practice of the season today, and I think we have around like 6 or 7 girls on the court at one time. So it's been
Okay.
pretty good. Hopefully next year we'll have all the girls playing. We'll be able to play in some tournaments.
Yeah. You talked about sisterhood. Do you think it's harder to like gain that during quarantine, or is it going to be the same for you?
I really did worry about trying to create a sense of sisterhood through the program since it's online,
Mm.
but I honestly think it won't be too bad. So I've been in a few coding programs over the summer, and they really stressed empowering other girls and creating a sisterhood as well. And I think we were able to successfully do that. And I'm hoping to try to replicate something very similar with this program. And I think it'll just take a little bit more effort from the team because I am working with 9 other amazing girls who are helping me create this program. And I think with the extra effort of all 10 of us, I think we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, I want to get into the history, the myth, the legend himself. So, why volleyball? Like, why was that the sport you kind of gravitated towards, like opposed to like I know you played other sports when you were a kid, so why volleyball?
It's funny. I think out of all the sports I played, I was the worst at volleyball.
Mm.
I started so I when I was younger, I played basketball, soccer, and gymnastics. So right off the bat, gymnastics was a no. I kept hitting my head on the ground. I'd come home kind of dizzy, so that was a no. Basketball, I was a little too not a little. I was very
Basketball.
short. Hey, play me in horse, Khalil. I'll play you in horse, but I could overall, like I know I'm just way too short to play that sport. Soccer, I actually played club soccer for a while and I really loved it. And I think
Mm.
my parents even said I was better at soccer than I was at volleyball, but I think I kind of made that transition to volleyball because my sister played and she was playing club at the time and I think they're more familiar with the whole club scene and volleyball, so that's kind of how I shifted into it.
Okay. So I know over the years, have you developed any like pregame rituals or anything? What do you use to get focused before a game?
So I music's a big part of it. I feel like music for me is very powerful and I kind of just have certain songs that I like to play to like hype me up.
Yeah.
Certain artists that I listen to before a game. And even sometimes like before big games I'll meditate because I really like meditating and I'm really into mental health and that whole mental aspect of the game. So
Mm.
that's what I'll do and I find it kind of helpful. And we did that a lot for varsity last year before
Oh,
like
that's good. That's good. I didn't know you guys did it as a team. 'Cause I know meditating is a big part of my life too, just to stay focused. Deal with stress. I know, like we're talking about rituals. I know, your teammate told me this that your mom every time you serve, she closes her eyes.
Yeah, no, she does that all the time. And even when my sister played high school and my sister played club, she would do that all the
Mm.
time. I used to get mad at her. I said, "Mom, do you not believe in me?" She's like, "No, I'm just superstitious at this point." So I don't take offense to it anymore, but my friends think it's so funny. She never
Yeah.
watches me.
So when you're in a clutch moment, do you feel that pressure for you? Do you think there's a big amount of pressure, or is it just calm for you?
I think it depends. I feel more calm when I'm in high school, which is weird because I've been in really tough situations and high pressure for both, but especially for high school when we were playing the state games.
Mm.
Um, but I think overall, I think I've played in so many different situations where there's been a lot of pressure where you just kind of get used to it. And
Yeah.
I think at that point, you just rely on all the hard work that you put in during practice and rely that you're like the best person to pass that ball or make that dig during that play.
You talk about tough situations. What do you think is like not necessarily just a situation, but like a part of your like experience through high school, through childhood with sports that's been like the toughest thing for you?
Like a tough, wait, sorry, can you
Just
repeat
like a
that?
tough moment or like any tough situation.
Hmm. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot. I think for club, there's been a lot. Like we've had to play. I think last year we went to our last qualifier that we could go to for junior nationals, and we were playing in the finals, and the Hawaii team was catching up to us, and
Mm.
we had to win, and we only had like a very small lead, and they were serving towards me, and so I got a little nervous, but I think I had to remain calm and I guess like remain confident within myself. And I ended up playing really well or making that play, and we ended up winning that game and taking first in the tournament. So I remember that.
Yeah. For you, is it when you have a rivalry game, is it like an animosity or is it like a friendly rivalry? What is it for you?
Oh, for high school?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'm so confident that our team will win. you know, because I think we have a really strong team this year, and
Hmm.
so for me it's fun because I also have a lot of really close friends from club on like on the La Cagnotta team and on the San Marino team. That for me it's just really fun, and again like I'm pretty confident in our team that we're able to beat La Cagnotta and San Marino. So I honestly have so much fun during those games. I don't have too much anger. And
All right, you heard it from her, guys. We're good, man. I wanted to ask, like, I know you always bring out the headband. Do you think accessories or like anything like gear that people wear, do you think it actually has an effect on how they play the game?
oh, you mean my concussion headband?
Is that what it is? I mean, you put out during the big game moments, so
No, it's a concussion headband, and my I honestly would prefer not to wear it,
mm,
but I had to wear it because it's for my parents. Like they're nervous about me really permanently damaging my head during volleyball, so they want me to wear it. But if I had got to choose, I wouldn't wear that headband at all.
yeah. What about like jerseys and stuff? Do you think when you get like say a new jersey, do you feel that when you play or no?
Hmm. Okay, well, I'm a firm believer like you look good, you feel good. Like that's even like for school. Like I like feeling or looking put together for school. So I do think that the clothes that you wear have an impact on how you feel or like influence that a little bit. So yeah, I do feel like if you like your jersey or you feel good in your jersey or you make it or it makes you feel a little bit more fierce, then I feel like yeah, it definitely does have an impact on you. And I feel like even that's with the shoes that you wear. Like for
Yeah.
basketball, Cleo, if you get nice shoes that you like, doesn't that make you feel a little bit better when you wear them?
Yeah, it always does because you just know when you get that new fresh look, you play fresh, like you feel fresh, everything.
Exactly. So I feel like that'd just be the same thing for anything that you wear during the
Yeah.
game.
Um, I want to wonder why did you start the girls who code program or what inspired you to do that?
So I started this program because back in 2019, I participated in my very first coding program called Code with Clossie, and it was weird because I didn't think coding was a girl thing. I didn't think that
Mm.
it was something I'd be into, but I ended up loving it. And what I even loved even more than that was how like the sisterhood that I gained from that and this idea of girls supporting other girls because I don't think we see enough of that in high school and middle school, and that just kind of inspired me to really try to pursue all these different like coding programs or really research into computer science. And I found that I really wanted to replicate something like that for the middle school girls because I think the girls at our middle school have so much potential and they're so smart. So I wanted to give them that opportunity that I had to learn coding in a safe environment. So that's why I wanted to do Girl Code. And the applications are actually going live this Saturday. So I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll get enough girls to participate.
Yeah, and you say you keep talking about that sisterhood. What are some ways that you inspire, like you bring that together?
Well, I think there's many different ways to go about it, but I think it's just emphasizing that like it's so important that like especially with computer science and it's such a male dominated field,
Mm,
you're going to need all the girls that you can to be there to support you through this really tough journey, and you're going to face a lot of obstacles just being a girl. So having or like really emphasizing that importance is a way to do that. And I think also just being a little bit more vulnerable, like we'll have different discussions where the girls can open up if they feel comfortable. And I think when you open up to somebody or you share a problem that you have, I feel like you automatically get a little bit more closer or you start to form that connection through those conversations.
yeah. So are you more of a stern leader or are you like a kind of a goofier leader? What do you think?
You, I should probably ask my teammates that. Nah, I don't really know how I would describe myself as a leader. I think one thing I know that I want to be as a leader, and I don't know how well I do this, but I really want to be a good listener.
Mm,
Um, I think for me, I've learned that the best leaders are listeners and that they're not the ones always talking. And so that's why like I like even in ASB or like Girl Code, the program, I try to get feedback from the people that I'm leading because I think that's like the best way to improve. And I obviously want to take their input into consideration, and I want them to know that their opinions and their beliefs and their concerns, they're all valued. And that's why, and I guess that's another form of listening. So I don't know if that would make me more of like a stern or a goofy leader, but I'm definitely still like you still need to get your work done
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we're all a team. We all rely on each other to do our own responsibilities.
And I've known you as a leader. Do you think that was something that you were just naturally like inclined to, or was it something that developed over time?
No, it's something developed over time. Like I didn't. I like I said, I always thought that the leaders had to be the ones talking. Like in huddles when we are like on the sidelines or on timeouts, I always thought that the team leader had to be talking all the time, but I think it's more valuable to step back and listen to what your teammates need. Because I think being a good leader is understanding what your teammates need and like the position that they're in and adapting to put them in a position to be successful. And I didn't really understand that until a little bit later when I gained a lot more experience in different leadership positions.
Hmm. For you, how has the college recruitment experience been? Was that easy, simple, or was it more like tedious?
Okay, well, to be completely honest, I didn't really think I was going to play in college. I always thought that I was just going to apply to a school on my own and then get in where I get in.
Mm,
Um, and I got a really late start to the whole college recruiting process. I didn't even make my first highlight video. One of my club teammates' parents were so nice, like, Lindsay, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And they made me their video, and they made me a highlight video to send out to all the colleges.
mm,
So I started then, like junior year, and I only reached out to a couple of schools because for me, volleyball, I didn't want to shape my entire college experience based on volleyball. So I only reached out to a handful of schools, and um, I tried to, I don't know, like I think from then seeing like who responded back to me, then I like moved forward with that.
mm.
But it wasn't super tedious, and I didn't put too much pressure on myself because I knew that that wasn't my only way to get to college. But it definitely, what I've learned is the college process is a lot of self advocating, and really it's on your own. Like you have to be motivated because there's no one else like holding your hand through the entire thing. Like you have to want to do it for yourself.
Yeah, any advice for like the younger kids? Because I know a lot of people are stressed out by like the college, even not just athletes, just everybody in general is stressed out by like college applications, like finding which college is best for them. What advice would you give them?
I think for people who are, I think people who are trying to get recruited, I would just have to say that I think sometimes I was a little intimidated to send an email to a college just because they're like, oh, I don't know what they're going to say. But I think one thing I learned is just send the email out, like just put out a feeler, because the worst that can happen is they say no. And I think also being persistent about it, and also emails. Sometimes don't send super lengthy emails because a college coach doesn't want to read super lengthy emails.
Yeah.
So definitely be concise when you're doing that. And then for people who are trying to figure out what college they want to go to, honestly, I had so much trouble trying to figure out if NYU was the school I wanted to go to, if that's where I was supposed to be, because I never thought that was where I was supposed to go. Or not supposed to go, where I was going to end up going.
Mm.
And I think it's really reflecting on what do I want out of college, like especially based on location, the programs that they offer, the different services that they have, the school, the size of the school, because I know for a lot of people that's a big thing. And even for me, the smaller details, like do they have sororities? Is there a Greek life big? Because I know I didn't want to go to a school who had like a really big Greek life. Or if you want to go tailgating or like go to sports games, like that's definitely something to consider, and just like really understand like what you want to get out of your whole college experience. And I think after I did that, I realized that NYU is somewhere that I could really see myself thriving.
Yeah, and you mentioned before, like not to get too stressed out about like what happens, because like it's just whatever goes. What's your kind of process for dealing with either like rejection or maybe like losing a game? What kind of process do you go through?
So, when I was younger, I used to get really sad, especially when we lost the really big games. Like I'd be really hard on myself, but I think over time, like I realized that as long as I'm learning something and I've grown and taken something away from that experience, and that's okay. And that it's okay that I lose one as long as I learn from it and then I go on and I win the next one. And I think it's so easy to get caught up in the past and dwell on all these little tiny mistakes that you made in a game, but it's so detrimental, and it honestly is not productive at all. And after you lose a game, you can't keep focusing on. The best thing to do is move on and try to focus on what you can control, because you trying to reverse like what happened is out of your control.
Yeah. I guess I'm just wondering, what do you think you would ever go into like a coaching position maybe? Because I know you have a high volleyball IQ. So do you think you would ever come back as maybe a coach, assistant coach, something like that?
I don't know. I really don't know. Mr. Danto, when we think we were, I think sophomores or freshmen, he told Lola and I that we had a job if we wanted at the middle school coaching the boys volleyball team. So I think I would do that. But I think once I'm out of college, I can't see myself coaching volleyball. I think for right now, obviously things might change, but I just don't think that that's something I would do later on. But I would definitely love helping somebody out or giving somebody tips if they wanted any from me.
Yeah.
Because I do love helping people out, but I don't know if coaching is something that I would do in the future.
I think we're all wondering, what are you leaning towards in college? Like what do you want to study, or also like career options too?
Yeah, so I'm planning to study computer science with a minor in psychology. And I know when people hear that, they think it's a little bit of a weird combination, but I think they're so intertwined, like once you really think about it. And the reason why I picked computer science is because technology is really integrated in all aspects of life now. And I think that having a computer science major really opens a lot of doors for me, and not just in the tech industry, but in a lot of other industries. So I think I'll have a lot of flexibility with that. And that's why I picked it. And the reason why I paired it with psychology is because I'm really interested in mental health and like how the brain works. And that's why I really wanted to try to find a way to incorporate that into my studies.
Yeah.
And I think also I was a little iffy about picking those two, but I'm in another program called Built by Girls, and I get paired with professionals in the tech industry. And one of my advisors really encouraged me to pick computer science and minor in psychology. So I'm pretty happy with those two, and hopefully I'll be able to stick with that through college.
Yeah. Yeah, especially how you talked about like there's a lot of like the internet is really big now. Like especially with athletes, I feel like they have kind of a need to have like a big social presence on like social media, stuff like that. Do you think you like are really focused on social media, or do you try to stay away from that?
Hmm. That's funny. Actually, I deleted Instagram by accident, my personal account. I think I told you this earlier. But in the summer, I tried to delete my campaign account for ASB,
Uh,
but I ended up deleting my personal account. And I'm telling you, I made a new one, but between that time that I didn't have it, it was so nice.
yeah,
Um, I think that social media can definitely be harmful for someone's mental health. And I think we all kind of know that. And it's hard to detach myself away from that. But having that moment where I didn't have Instagram or it wasn't on social media, it was really nice because I could focus on other things and I didn't feel this need to always be checking my phone. Or if I do a post, like, oh, who's seen my post or whatever, things like that. But I think Snapchat, if I had to pick a social media, I feel like I would do Snapchat because it's a little bit more candid, I guess, and it's not super picture perfect like Instagram is. But I really don't try to spend a lot of my time on social media because I feel
yeah,
like it's also a big time waster as well.
yeah. Especially TikTok. I'm telling you, that's a dark horse, guys. Don't guys, it takes your life away.
Wait,
Um,
do you have TikTok? This
no,
is
I don't
such
have TikTok. I do not have that.
oh my. I
So, oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I haven't downloaded it because I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, don't download it. No, so you said you mentioned meditation earlier. Who kind of got you into that, or how did you come into that?
I It was eighth grade. When I was in eighth grade, I think I struggled a little bit with mental health. And so after that, I got really interested in it and just figuring out different ways to make sure that I'm mentally healthy. And I really started to read a lot of different books about psychology and mental health since eighth grade. And those have become my favorite books to read.
Yeah,
So it's kind of funny, but sorry. And I think that inspired me to really learn more about meditation. And I think I'm Buddhist, but my branch of Buddhism doesn't, or the branch of Buddhism that I'm in, we don't meditate as much. But I kind of also heard about meditation through Buddhism as well, and I I think after like I've done a few meditation exercises, I really liked it, and I continued to do it after that.
yeah. I really think my studio needs a chair because my back's starting to hurt. But between your like eighth grade or ninth grade self, like what do you think is the biggest difference between like then and now?
I think the biggest thing between eighth grade and ninth grade, I feel like I've just become a lot more confident within myself. And I think I've grown more as a person. I figured out like the type of person that I want to be and what I want to do in life. Um, and that was the biggest thing because I don't think I was the most sure of myself back then. But I think I've really liked the person that I've grown into today.
Hmm. Yeah, and then that's kind of like what a lot of people discuss. It's like high school, you kind of like you're finding your niche, you're finding like what's your thing really. And what do you think? Like your peers, like, do you think that had a big effect on you, or are you more like internally, like you figured out what you wanted?
I think I had to figure it out for myself. I think definitely my friends have had an influence on that, but I think that was like finding out like what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be was definitely something I had to figure out for myself. And I would even say like clearly like the people we sit at lunch, I feel like we all have pretty different interests.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact we've all had on each other, but I feel like we still do have like a little bit of an influence, but I think we've all kind of figured out our own path and gone down it.
so are you more of a introvert or extrovert?
I'm for sure more of an extrovert.
Yeah,
I think I have some introvert tendencies, but I'm someone who I love being with people and I get a lot of energy from interacting with different people, and I love learning people's stories and hearing what they have to say about certain things. And I think that's also what's been kind of hard about quarantine is I really haven't been able to do that.
Mm.
But that's definitely I'm definitely an extrovert, I'd have to say.
Yeah. And that like energy, like when you talk to people, like I know especially in like volleyball, it's really important to like have like that big energy. Like what are some ways that you like try to raise other people's energy around you?
Ooh, I think celebrating the small wins. Like that's what I try to focus on.
Mm.
And I think that's how I try to boost other people's energy is just getting them excited about the little things that they do right. Like
Yeah.
whether that's like one good pass, it's three options. I try to really celebrate that so that not only they feel more energized, but also they feel more confident going into the next play.
Okay. Um, this kind of like again, we're gonna finish up soon. It's kind of a last question. Who would you like to see on the show?
Oh, I've heard you tell me some of the other people you have on. Let me think. I feel like for you, TH would be a fun one because you
Mm.
and I feel like you and him would just have so much fun.
Yeah.
Plus, he's going to Columbia for track. Um, but yeah, I also love to see my volleyball girls, Lola and Abby. Yeah, those would be fun ones to have.
Hey, well, we'll make sure to make it happen. Hey, you guys, everybody, like and subscribe the video to the YouTube channel, and make sure you like the video. All right, that was Lindsay. Thanks for coming on the show, and have a good day. And we love hearing about it.
Bye.
Bye bye.